Alright, as you can see from the showcase, the build is really good. Not broken. I mean, it's definitely broken, but yeah, it's due to the dodgers undoing on cast on crit, having like an infinite loop so it can generate energy. Usually, when you have skill casted from cast on crit or other meta skills, it shouldn't be generating energy for the meta skills. But there's some, I don't know, interaction between the just undoing that can generate energy from for cast on crit and other meta skill like cast on elemental element. That's why it is an infinite loop. So how do you scale your damage on your Dredge's undoing is basically using your cast on crit level. You may be thinking that the Dredge's undoing level is from the elemental weakness, but that is not the case. It is actually following the level of cast on critical. That's why you need to get a high level cast on crit if you can with a +1 level from corruption. An extra quality is also good. That's why the unique jewel, the Prism of Belief Diamond for cast on crit level is currently skyrocketed because of this build. Alright, now you may be asking, why do I use Pathfinder? It's because it's actually very simple. The reason why I'm doing this on Pathfinder is because I already built my temple. So I'm doing this build on Pathfinder. You can use this build basically on any other class because crit doesn't matter if you are on temple. Because basically you have a guaranteed high crit when you use Headhunter. When you kill the rare monster that have crit modifier, crit chance. That is why you can almost do this build on any character. But then why Pathfinder is actually pretty comfortable for this build is due to this Ascendancy node. You can get attribute passive skill can instead grant 5% increased cost efficiency. This is really huge for us, because by taking a lot of this, our cost for the cast on crit and then for the spell slinger fireball and also comet is really low. I didn't even take a lot of increased cost efficiency, like I think I have some spare, but I use it for intelligence so that I have more mana. Yeah, it's really good on Pathfinder. And also, you can also get your speed is unaffected by slows, which is quality of life, and then you cannot be heavy stun while sprinting. So sprinting, you can sprint, and also you have 50% less movement speed penalty from using skills while moving. So you can like move while you can fly. Alright. That's for Pathfinder. On Blood Mage, it is pretty straightforward. You will want to get high crit as possible. The difference on Pathfinder is you don't have like a high critical hit chance, but to get a lot of critical hit chance nodes on the trees, since we are lacking of critical hit chance, I'm using Maligaros, because this basically doesn't require you to take critical damage bonus, since your critical damage bonus is always 250%. That's why I always take critical hit chance, critical hit chance, critical hit chance, critical hit chance, and then critical hit chance. And also, when you're using Maligaro, if there is like a reduced critical damage bonus like this, it won't reduce your critical damage bonus. It will stay 250%. See, it's still 250%. And also you can use pinpoint critical to increase your crit even more. So currently spark is 44, but when I use pinpoint critical, it's 70%. But the critical damage bonus stays 250%. It doesn't reduce the critical damage bonus. Usually, if you don't use Maligaro, you will have 30% less critical damage bonus, which is not good. And also, by only taking critical hit chance nodes, I can take a lot of quality of life nodes. Like I can take this area of effect, and then energy, meta skill, have reservation, efficiency, and also area of effect of curse, and then faster curse activation. Basically, it saves a lot of point when you only take critical hit change node. Even in both mage, you will still need to take critical damage bonus to scale your damage, and it will use a lot of points, so you cannot take the quality of life like this. Plus 1 level of cold spell skills, increase freeze build up, and also this one is really good. When the enemy is frozen, it will get 50% increased damage with hits. So it will scale your damage so big. Like it's really good. Alright, currently my Pathfinder is level 99. So maybe if you are on low level, you can remove this node first. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 99. Okay, 95. You can delete these nodes, or like, yeah, I think these nodes or these nodes, spell damage nodes. Alright, next point. The important stuff for doing the loop is of course the critical hit chance. It must be high, and then you will want to have a high flat damage, because in order to proc the cast on elemental element, your curse, Doedre's Undoing, need to have a high shock chance, a high freeze buildup, and a high ignite. So it will generate cast on elemental energy faster. But on Temple, it's like your hits always shock, like your damage is really big from the Headhunter because a lot of rare monster. But you on general maps, it is still really good. But sometimes it will stop the infinite loop because of our low crit on here. But then you just need to press your spark again to deal critical hit, and then it will start doing the loop again. Alright, for the gems, all you need is spark, cast on crit, cast on elemental element, and archmage. And make sure to put the Allah's Desire on archmage because it will increase the reservation efficiency very high. Right now I have 15. When I took it out, it's 10. Trinity is my personal choice. Usually when doing maps collecting crystal, I turn off Trinity and turn on Bling and Siphon elements. There's another quality of life for to get more crit chance is to path here and then get this gain power charge when you consume an elemental infusion, and then you use a spirit gems called charge regulation. It will increase your crit chance even more when you have elemental infusion. But then on my usual setup, I didn't turn on siphon elements, that's why I didn't use this. Okay, it's also worth mentioning that when I try to use Atalois bloodletting, it doesn't increase the damage of the Doedre's Undoing. That's why I think it is better to put Atalois bloodletting on your comet. Alright, so for Spellslinger, usually when bossing, I change this fireball into living bomb to generate fire remnants so that our comet will deal more damage. But for clearing, I put fireball with science temper so that we have AoE of fireball everywhere. That's why on the temple you see like there is like a curse ground, infinite curse ground, and then infinite fireball, and then comet raining down the sky. It's it's a visual clutter. Okay, for the gears, you want to get a one with a +4 level of all spell skills if you can, or just use +3. It doesn't matter unless you want to min max. You also can get +5, but it's very expensive. Or maybe if you don't care about the fireball damage and also spark damage, and you only care about the comet damage, you can just use cold, and then for triggering the crit, change spark to like a frostbolt or other cold spell. Alright, for the armor, if you're using Pathfinder like me or like any other class beside Blood Mage, you will need to use the Covenant Altar Robe. If you can get increased life cost efficiency, it's really a quality of life because your cost of your skills will be lowered. And then the Vortex with +4 or +3 up to your budget. And then a Scepter with 200 spirit. If you can get a Scepter with 200 spirit and also like a mana or intelligence, it is very good. And also, if you get a Scepter with discipline on it, you will get 309 total maximum energy shield at level 19. Level 19 discipline. If you have level 20, the flat energy shield will be much more higher. Or if you don't care about like having bling or 7 elements, just use this. Just use this Sacred Flame Shrine Scepter. You will gain more damage, but then you lose on spirit. Alright. For boots with high resistance and high energy shield. And I'm using 60% increased effect of socket items because this boot was used for movement speed before, but then I lack resistance, so I changed the rune to resistance. And also I got pretty lucky with the corruption. I get another fire resistance. Headhunter and then Maligaros with Take Rod. It's not mandatory on Pathfinder, but I think on other class you will need Take Rod because to lower your life cost for spells. For the rings, get a high increase maximum mana and also flat mana. On your amulet, spirit, 50 spirit is very important, and then post level of spell skills, and also to get maximum life and maximum mana, and also some resistance. I don't think cast speed is very important for this build because like I don't think that it has a downtime for casting on cast on critical or cast on element. The one that gets effect from cast speed, I think your spell that you cast yourself. That's why I don't have cast speed on here and here. And it also make the equipment more cheaper. I actually have the cast speed ring here. As you can see, it will increase my damage. But then I don't have rarity. Because rarity is quite important on temple. Like I did temple with this one and I have 0 rarity, and like the divine drop is very very distinguishable. Alright. So I think that's all for the build. Maybe I will make another build video with Blood Mage, but basically it will be the same tree, I think. Yeah, it's the same tree for Blood Mage. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that if you're Pathfinder, you can allocate your passive starting from the sorcerer starting point. That's why Pathfinder is actually quality of life, the quality of life ascendancy on this game. Like I think you can play a lot of build on Pathfinder, but like you have a lower damage, but then the quality of life is really amazing, like unaffected by slows, 50% less movement speed penalty, cannot be heavy stun while sprinting. Also you can get increased damage, increased defense, increased cost efficiency, which is absolutely good. And then you get more passive skill points. You get 4 passive skill points for free from here. Like it's really good for Pathfinder. But yeah, if you're doing Blood Mage, you'll have more damage. But the quality of life, I think Pathfinder wins. Like if you're on Blood Mage, you will need to have a Tech Rod mandatory, and then a lot of stuff to make your life cost efficiency lower. And it's very expensive to do that. Alright. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll make a vote. Should I make a Blood Mage version of it? Or, but I think it's more or less the same. Alright, I think that's all for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And see you guys on another video. And by the way, I'm quitting this league, because yeah, I think I don't know what to do anymore on this league. Yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.